making changes in government. We're making changes in business. We're making changes in education. What kind of changes have we actually made, not just in religion, but in how we think about things in religion? It's the same old thing. We're going to talk about this. I'll be right back.
You can do it. Don't stop. Ed Montgomery. Come on. A new way of thinking. Transform your mind. Straight from the vine. Fresh new wine.
Hello, I'm Ed Montgomery. Welcome to Fresh New Wine. I am your host today, and I'm going to be with you while we're talking about what we're talking about. So make sure you hit that like button. That gets us started, that gets the algorithms moving. You know, hitting that like button is like a defibrillator. It kind of tells the heart, come on, let's go. And it gets it pumping and gets it moving and it gets that bloodstream going. So hit us on that like button. Share this with somebody and let us know where you're watching from, what city you're in while you're watching. You may be out of town, not just where you're from, but what city you're watching this from, or what state, or what country. All right. Now, I'm seeing so many changes of what's going on in the country, in our world, all these different kind of things. But one of the things that I really question is what changes are we making in our belief system? What do I believe? What kind of faith do I have? What do I think about the Creator? What do I think about? And I love calling people say God. I love using the word Creator because God is not, of course, God's name. Creator is not God's name, but at least the Creator symbolizes something of creating all things. What do I think about God? What do I think about my faith concerning Jesus Christ? What do I think about all of these things that we've held dear, beliefs that we have held dear to for years, for decades, and in some cases for centuries, all the way for 2,000 years. From the very first time we even are introduced to the writings of Jesus Christ. And so we ask ourselves, what do I believe right now in this day and time? And is what I believe actually taking me through my life? Or have I just accepted what people have told me? I talk with ministers. I talk with church workers. I talk to people who consider themselves spiritual but not necessarily religious. And I ask the question, what do we believe about certain things? What do we believe about God? What do we believe about Jesus? What do we believe about salvation and all of these different things? Because if we don't get it, not just right, but if we don't get it to where we can comprehend and understand in the middle of troubled times, then it's not going to get us through. And that faith that we need to get us through, if it's not strong enough, if it doesn't have the power that's necessary, we're going to be spinning our wheels. We're going to be sitting right in that car in the middle of a mud pit, spinning the wheels, putting our foot on the gas, thinking we're going somewhere. And in reality, we're not going anywhere. But then again, are we afraid to look at what I believe? Because what if I find out that if what I believe is not really working for me, if I let go of something, what will I have left? So maybe it's better to keep and hold on to whatever I believe, even though it's not getting me through, than to let go of something and to be left with what I may think is nothing. But I want to encourage, I want to say this to you. Sometimes, number one, sometimes you have to get to a point in your life where you're willing to let go and trust that there is something underneath you that is going to hold you or is going to be a solid place for you to land. Number one, can we find a solid landing for our faith if we let go of some things? What are you talking about? I hear a lot of people talking about faith, and we've talked about a lot of it on this particular program. We talk about having faith in God, having faith in our faith, having faith to believe that I can get a new job, having faith to believe that my child is going to succeed in college, having faith to believe that I'm going to get more money. You know about that whole more money thing because, we go to church and we say all the preachers, all they're talking about is money, 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 money. They need to stop talking about money. But bottom line is people need money to be able to get through whatever they're going to get through. Everybody wants it. Everybody needs it. But maybe we shouldn't talk about it in church. Maybe that's just a place for the spiritual. But maybe money is spiritual. You see how we have to go back and look at how things work. Faith is not just taking a risk to make something happen. Taking a free fall jump and not think about the fact that maybe I need a parachute. Imagine yourself in a plane. People saying we're going to go skydiving, and you get in a plane. Plane takes you up. You're going across, up in the air and everything. You say, "Oh, that's going to be a great place," and everybody just decides they're going to jump out of the plane. But nobody has come up with the fact that we do need parachutes, or we're all going to die. You say that's silly. But if you don't have the proper teaching about something, then what good is it going to do? First of all, you need a parachute if you're going to skydive. Secondly, you need instructions on how, and this is just basic stuff, how to pull the ripcord. Thirdly, what happens if that original parachute fails and you pull the ripcord and, oh my God, it didn't pop out? Is there an auxiliary parachute? Is there a fail safe to this thing? That if you pull that one, is there a third fail safe? And if there's no third fail safe, well, you probably already gone by now. But at least get the teaching. If you're going to jump out of a plane, have a parachute. If you're going to parachute, at least learn how to buckle it up, how to pull the ripcord, how to keep the harness strong. All these are things that we have to understand and know when we take ourselves out on a plane and decide to go skydiving. Now, let me say, I'm not going to skydive myself. And some of you saying, well, that's not me. You could have had a better example because I'm not going out there. But what's happening in our lives? Are we taking risks on buying houses that we're not going to be able to pay for? Are we going to college and are we writing up and coming up with different student loans? Have we sat down and asked ourselves the question that if I do get the loans for this particular profession, how much is this profession paying right now? How much is it projected to be paying in 5 years once I get out of college? And if I make X amount of dollars every year for this amount of money, how much is it going to cost me before I can pay off my student loans? And especially if this government keeps taking the percentage higher and higher on interest for student loans? Will I have to alter the profession I want? in order to be able to have enough money to survive and not have to work half of my life just to pay off the loans and never get ahead, never be able to buy a house, never be able to do what I want to do and to be able to enjoy my life. Does faith in God tell us, well, don't worry about that? Just jump out there and do it, and God will provide? Sounds like some of the things they say. Well, we can't do anything about the government. We can't do anything about what's happening with ICE. We can't do anything about what's happening in Minnesota, what's happening in other countries. I mean, other cities. Well, other countries also, but other cities. We can't do anything about it. So we just need to get back to God and to pray and to believe God and to trust God and put it all in the hands of God. Ladies and gentlemen, how long have we been saying that? And you know, people of God, people of faith, that just is not clicking. We can preach that all day long. And it doesn't matter how much we preach. If you just have faith, if you'll just pray, if you'll just believe God, if you put it all in the hands of God. We're not praying much. Our prayers are not getting through. That's what's wrong with America. How long have we been saying that? Well, I got something I want you to consider. I want you to think about. Stay right here with me. Before I finish it up, let me say this to you. Thank you so much for your contributions and what you do to help us get through, to help us go on this journey, to keep bringing what we bring to you. So whenever you give, take a moment and say, you know what, this is not just a contribution from my pocket, but make whatever you do from your heart. You can text to give by going to 713-742-2035. You can text it on your phone, or you can go to myalc.org, myalc.org, and you can hit that donation contribution button. And it's very safe, it's very secure, and you can do what you do that way. What you're doing is making an investment in your spirituality, because that's what we're talking about, your spirituality. Now, how in the world do you make your faith work when we're talking about all of these different things? Believing God, having faith in God, praying more, put it in the hands of God. What is it that's not working? When you think of doing this kind of thought process, one of the first things you don't want to do is discourage people. And I've learned faith, when it comes to that, I never want to discourage or never want to, knock people off their faith track. But here's what I've learned about faith. Faith is the understanding of a particular teaching. Instead of having faith to put somebody in the office of president so that they can work, instead of we just gonna risk and we just gonna pull this lever for this particular person. Well, I got tired of the Democrats. I'm gonna vote Republican because the Democrats have never done anything for me. Or the Republicans are doing this. I'm gonna vote Democrat. I'm not gonna vote at all. I'm not gonna do any of those things. I'm going to just take a risk and just vote for anybody. Or I'm not going to vote at all. What is faith? Faith is not taking a risk for the things that you love and that you care about. Faith is taking the time to learn everything you can about what you are about to do in this society in which you live. Faith concerning money is learn everything you can about how to save, how to manage, not budget. I call it spending plans, how to have spending plans. How does money work? How do you earn it? Where does it come from? Do you make it? Do you earn it? All of these things. Learn as much. Read what you can. Listen to what you can. Talk to people who have done the work. And then when it comes time to make the investments, now you got to trust your gut. And you say, this is what faith is. Faith is not just trusting your gut. It is trusting your gut when you have put information or something in your gut as a foundation upon which you can land. Learn everything you can about a particular subject before you just jump out there and do anything. Find out what that home is going to cost, what's going to happen in 5 years, what's going to look like in 10 years. Start looking at your government. Where's your government going? Who's president? And not just the president, but who are these people in office, in Congress? What do they think? How do they feel? Do they have a spine or not have a spine? Do they have courage or do they not have courage? What kind of people have we put in office? Do we have people who are just out there because they want power or they want money, or just people who are willing to bow down at the wish of anybody that they think will give them the power to do anything? And when we learn that, here's what faith is. Having the ability, no matter who they are and what color of the skin, get them out of office if they cannot serve who you are. Faith is having the understanding that I have searched who these people are, what they believe. I have asked them, what do they think about things? I'm not asking about what they believe. I care about what do they think about that. What have they learned about these kind of things? What have they learned about government? What have they learned about Congress? Do they know the process of voting? What's the Constitution, right? They haven't even texted you, gave you information. Somebody texted me. But bottom line is this. Get to know the subjects that you are talking about. Get to know it. And when you get to know these kind of things, guess what? When you decide to jump out and decide, all right, I'm going to make investments, you got information. And information can bring you knowledge, and knowledge can bring you understanding. And understanding has this one thing. Hebrews chapter 11, if you want to find this in the Bible, around verse 3, it says, by faith we understand that the worlds were created by the word of God. In other words, it's not faith that makes you believe that God created the world. Faith, information, knowledge helps you to understand. Not the thing totally. We don't know how things were created, but to give you an understanding about belief systems and God in your life, not in spirituality. When you take all of these things into consideration, then your faith will not fail when trouble comes. And then when trouble comes, you'll just learn how to lay back and at least trust not only what you learned, but also what you don't know. Learn to trust even the areas you have not learned yet. That's what it means to have faith. Do what you can. And after you've done all you can, stand there. God bless you. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there. Hello, my friends. I'm Ed Montgomery. You know me, Pastor Ed, Dr. Ed. Thank you so much for doing what you do and contributing from your heart. People think giving comes from the pocket. Never has. It comes directly from the heart. In the world that we're living in right now, so many changes, so many things happening that will make us lose our faith. Listen, I've got to teach more than I've ever taught. stay online more than I've ever been online. Because it's not just going to be enough to encourage. We're reteaching the faith. That's right, reteaching the faith. Because we have to begin to strengthen the teaching so that people who've never heard this gospel like this before can hear it and continue to move on. So when you give, you're pushing me and telling me and challenging me to keep going forward. Take a moment, go to myalc.org. That's myalc.org, myalc.org, and go ahead and click that donate button. It is safe, it is secure, and not only that, but it only takes just a couple of minutes, maybe even a few seconds for those of you that are already signed up. Or if you want to use your phone, wherever you're watching or however you're watching, you can use text to give. And that's 713-742-2035, 713-742-2035. Or you can go old school and you can write a check and send it in to Abundant Life Center or Ed Montgomery. It doesn't go into my pocket, it goes into our ministry. 772-300, Houston, Texas, 77215. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for what you already do. I am praying for you, and I am praying the best over your gift and over the offering. And I pray that abundance will continue to flow in your life in so many different ways. It'll warm your heart. God bless you.